Peace, goddesses. Wisdom, strength, and beauty. Hotep. Shalom, Mishkaya. I reserve all of my rights without recourse, without prejudice. Taking notes for practice. We are going to write a writ of Mandamus. Okay. By order of the king. Uh-oh. So instead of an affidavit, some individuals prefer writ of mandamus. All right, get right to it. Be known to all men be known to all men and their persons and their persons. Do we even know what these words mean? Ask yourself, do you know what men really means? Do you know what persons really means? You know, we have these words, these terms that were taught in public schools that the meaning is something than what it really is. And I don't even know how to get away with that. That should be very extremely unlawful. But our parents are too busy hustling and going to 9 to 5s that they, I guess, for the past 50, 100 years have not paid attention. So take a moment to get you a Black's Law Dictionary or an Oxford Dictionary and make sure you know what these words mean because they don't mean what you think they mean. Okay? For example, the word gentleman. People think they know what that word means. Don't call me a gentleman if you don't know what the word means. You see? Gentleman, gentlewoman. According to Black's Law Dictionary, a gentleman refers to a man who is not a noble, yet he is not belligerent. So it's someone who is born not of noble descent, but yet they are not savage or belligerent or malefic or evil person. They're quite generous. So they were called gentlemen. Same with women. Instead of saying lady, the correct term would be gentlewoman or generosa. These words have meanings. All right. All right. What's another word? Oh, here's one I bet you didn't know. Gentile. Go look up Gentile. Because it's so funny how a lot of our brothers, they they say, oh, look at those Gentiles. Oh, you don't want to be like the Gentiles. Not even knowing you might be talking about yourself. Not even knowing. I told my I told my empress about a few years ago. I said there's something about this English language or the language we speak. It's almost like we're cursing ourselves. And lo and behold, you go and read and study the law books, and you realize that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. Be known to all men and their persons. I, oh, wait a minute. That should be lowercase. I'm going to do that again. Okay. I'm just going to scratch this line for now. Start over right here. Should have been lowercase. All right. Try it again. Writ of Mandamus. By order of the king. Gusu Tezazi Mizariti, Writ Mandamus, by order of the king. Alright, my niggas, here we go. Be known to all men. I, Kenneth Arnaz, given to hold this camera and write at the same time. See, when you take on the obligation of uplifting humanity, you realize it starts with yourself. Have to uplift myself in order to lawfully claim that my intention is to uplift humanity. Is it not so? Charity begins at home, spreads abroad. Be known to all men, I, Kenneth Arnaz, given a fee, simple estate of inheritance from the Father. I'm the registered owner. With an indefeasible INDE indefeasible title to my land and lawful owner of the real property and interest known as all caps Kenneth Hernandez Davis. Born February 12th, 1977. And registered in the county of Bossier Parish, Louisiana. Having now appeared and from this day forward shall be seen as competent and of age, a majority. And the sovereign power of my land. All presumptions to the contrary are void. My inked signature shall be my seal. All right, I'm gonna have to find another pen. Hold on a minute. I gotta find another pen. Should have had one ready. keep going with this for right now. Now, no, yeah, I probably done heard the phrase, you got to stand on your square. And I heard it, before. No one ever really told me what that meant. I had to learn that. And it seemed to me that there was something interesting about it because if you notice, as soon as you go into, um, you get arrested, you go into the booking, first thing they do is tell you stand on that square so they can pat you down, you in. Pay attention to that if you ever get in that situation. Hopefully you don't. But so this last time that I went in and I noticed that, right? First off, I was already pretty pissed off that this dude had kidnapped me, assaulted me, stole my car. So one thing I noticed after they let me go, after a few hours, I noticed a few things. That having stood on my square, as they say, they were forced to correct my status. You see that? Where is it? Right there. What does that say? It says I'm white, right? Right? It says I'm white. It says I'm a white male, right? So that goes back to the words that we use. You know what I'm talking about? The words that we think we use, that we think we know what they mean, they have different meanings. And those meanings can hurt us if we don't know. When you know better, you gotta do better. So calling ourselves black, African American, Indian, Latino, Mexican, what else? Negro. And then these dumbasses, they try to play games, right? They try to say niggas. See that word, niggas? They try to say it came from Negro. Well, that's a lie. We know that's a lie. We know niggas means king. Negro. Crackers might have made that word up and branded it. See, they took these words and they call themselves branding them. You know what I'm talking about? Every time you turn on TV, you see a commercial for a brand. Yeah. So black is a brand owned by a you know a European family, so called allegedly. African American is a brand, copyrighted, trademarked. You know, if you claim it, then it's penalties. You know, black is not a nation. Okay, there's no unity in not being a part of a nation. African American is not a nation by law. I know we I know we've been taught this. That's my nigga, we black. But it's not what we think it is. So stop fucking saying it. We not black. We never been black. Our hair might be black. Some of our eyes might be black. You know what I'm talking about? But we are not black. You see, black means dead. Dead according to the law. And these people all over the world, they take that serious when it comes to talking about the law. Everything is either lawful or unlawful. See, if you got kids right now, you need to be making your kids, read these dictionaries. Black's Law Dictionary, Oxford dictionaries. So you know the meaning of the words that someone else is teaching your children to speak. It's like that cartoon Charlie Brown. That's where they get it from. Wah 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 wah. Because a lot of the words we say don't mean a fucking thing. They don't mean nothing at all, and that can be dangerous. Anyways, if you have a hard time with someone telling you don't call yourself black, I feel you. Believe me, I feel you. But if you want to keep getting locked up and chased around by, you know, people who make it their business to do that to people who call themselves blacks, then let me know how that works out for you. Because I've been there. I've done that. I see damn near everyone I know suffering because of that. Extremely suffering. There's a whole side of the city where it's nothing but homeless brown people. Why? Because they have not realized the truth. You say, oh, but you home, you sleeping in your car. Okay, I'm home is billionaire, so, and I know it. When I'm driving, when I'm when I'm when I'm riding actually through the communities, and I see all my brothers and sisters and cousins suffering as billionaires. If they only knew. All right. Next paragraph. I am an immortal living soul. created in the image of the Father. Here as one of his people. Conscious of my Trinity, of heart, mind, and soul. Born a child of God. Now living as a man of peace. Under the grace of the Creator. And by the Creator's will. I am the sovereign power. And tribunal of the court of record. Of my sovereign nation state. See, I think I realize most of us are afraid that, and the fear comes from ignorance, lack of, or ignoring the facts. Because everyone's going to say, well, you should have known that, so you're ignorant. So you got to accept that. But what I was about to say is, when people think that there's no one to punish these dishonorable officials, then we have the attitude like, fuck it, it's no use, it's no sense fighting this. You might as well just do what they tell you to do. Like, there's nobody to fucking punish them. But that is far from the truth. You see, Once this letter right here is complete and written, there's order and structure. You follow the order follows your command. By order of the king. That is what a writ of mandamus is. Each city, state, region has what they call a vicar general from the Vatican, from the Pope, who enforces this law. Because these people who insist on molesting us, on raping us, on robbing us, on converting us, and unjustly enriching themselves from our virtue. They're known criminals. They're so known that there are laws written a long time ago to punish them for that. And in order for these laws to be executed, one must perfect the execution. That's why it annoys me when I hear people say, "Oh, I can't be perfect." You can't be perfect. Nobody can be perfect. You're just men. We're gonna talk about that later, but that is so annoying when the scripture clearly says, "Be ye perfect." So if we're gonna be men who love the law, we're gonna seek out all law, all ALL, law LAW, all law, all law. So yes, as man, MAN, man who was created by the Father, who was and is and will forever be in his image and likeness, making thus God and man. See? So, and perfect, and I guess some would say imperfect, kind of joined together. That is the mystery. Okay, so I am the sovereign power and tribunal of the court of record of my sovereign nation state, with original, exclusive, and final jurisdiction. With original, exclusive, and final jurisdiction. So I take this to Los Angeles County Sheriff. I tell him, if your officer dumbasses keep fucking with me, I'm gonna fuck with you by sending the vicar general with my rod and staff. So stay the fuck off of my property and away from all that I possess. Point blank, period. Are we clear? We gonna see. Final jurisdiction in all matters concerning my lands and real property and all interests in the estate. You know what else this could be used for? Other than officer dumbasses who want to violate our civil rights by violating Title 18 USC Section 242 constantly. It's like you fucking come to work to violate your oath of office. You are a disgrace. Your tongue will rot in your mouth, and dogs will eat your bones if you do not correct your honor. Next page. A living man one of the people sovereign power of my land. Gonna figure out how to get inside of the congressional library in DC. Search out my family history, because that bullshit that they talking about ancestry.com, if you really think that they are tracing your lineage, you are fucking retarded. If you ever learn what it means to know thy enemy, it will cause you much pain and suffering. Our women keep taking their children to their hospitals, and their children are coming out retarded. Alejandro, and it's like you fucking don't pay attention. Stop it. Pay attention. They even said what they was gonna do before they did it. Vaccinated. everybody's kids but ours. And the vaccinations are gonna be chemicals. They said this shit before they did it, G. Did they not? Or am I making it up? Am I just talking? To my land, answerable only to the Father. You know, all that telling yourself you can't be perfect, that's just like getting a record deal and the only thing you ever rap about is I see death around the corner. And you know what happens soon after? You know? Like people that always scream, fuck love, fuck love. And then you wonder why you never have none. Answerable only to the Father, I is grantee. Even if we even if we aren't perfect, the intention is very powerful. You see, if I set myself to seek to know that one law that says be you, how hell am I gonna be perfect? But it clearly says to do. I think this is one way right here. I is grantee accept accept the covenant known as the New Testament. And the deeds known as the Constitution. I mean, isn't this what our ancestors did? They wrote the Constitution. They wrote scriptures. They wrote parables and stories and books and letters. Oh my. Isn't it so? All right, so it says, a living man, one of the people, sovereign power of my land, answerable only to the Father. I, as grantee, accept the covenant known as the New Testament and the deeds known as Constitution of or for the United States of America. California, Louisiana, et al. And treaties of peace. Treaty of peace and friendship. Our ancestors sat down together and wrote it. They wrote it with compassion and peace and friendship. Did they not? Are we so much better than our ancestors? Are we so much more advanced, modernized than our ancestors? Are we so much more minimalist than our ancestors would ever be? I accept the promissory note. I accept the promissory oaths of all public officers. Hmm. Remember that? Remember that movie, Gladiator? Yeah, he was the vicar general. I think he was the vicar general. That's why the son tried to take over, because he knew the vicar general was first in command after the king. So he killed his own father to become king, and then tried to set up the vicar general so that the whole nation would go against him, and thus giving power over to giving all power with, you know, no accountability, thus being able to put in an evil vicar general instead of an honorable. That was an interesting movie, Gladiator. You've never seen it. That relates to this. I accept the promissory oaths of all public officers and the vows of the clergy to be the servants who by fealty and homage To me bear faith, to all men. It says, I accept the promissory oaths of all public officers and vows of the clergy to be the servants who by fealty and homage to me bear faith in opposition to all men, without any saving or exception, and protect the king. Princess, and people of my kin, from the belligerent. I extend my sovereign immunity to said public officers, performing their lawful duties in regards to my business and protection. Therefore, by sovereign prerogative, we, the Trinity of heart, mind, and soul, command this writ of Mandamus, issued under our hand and seal, judgment binding on all competent and incompetent. Courts of justice. Governments, clergy, corporations, persons, their officers, and servants to ensure my will is done. And executed. No natural or artificial person has status to bring claim against me, the living man. No natural or artificial person has status to bring a claim against me, the living man. Nor against my real property. And or interest. Any such claim now open is void. Any such claim now open is void on its face and shall be immediately discharged. Any living man claiming that I have harmed him or his property, shall provide full proof foolproof evidence to substantiate his claim. Lawful officers are commanded to protect me. And my property as one of the Creator's people. Man, created in his image, landlord of my realm, that by your free will have sworn your allegiance. Your promissory oath has bound your soul. To eternal damnation. If you should ever break God Creator's laws. If you require my seal to carry out my orders, ask, and I will give it. Otherwise, do as you are ordered. failure to immediately carry out any verbal or written lawful orders from this day forward. Oh, wait a minute. Light went out. Hold on. Gotta readjust. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So better. Failure to immediately carry out any verbal or written lawful orders from this day forward is your acknowledgement of breaking Creator God's laws, and an indication you are and not worthy for holding your office. In which case, I mandate the ordinary of your province and his vicar general to correct any clergy or clergy holding ordinary power, to correct any cleric or clergy holding ordinary power, as necessary to see my lawful orders are followed. I am following the footsteps of my brother Christ. On the path to achieve the status of Son of God. And on that journey, as a man of peace, what I ask for shall be given. It is my will that from now forth and never again as one of the dead, under the control of some pagan religion. Further, no man speaks to the Father for me. My wish is to honor my Father. With heart, mind, and soul. by unleashing the divine energy he gave me. As my inheritance. That until now has been controlled and squandered by others. Who would rather charge their brother than treat them like themselves. Enslaving all to hell on earth, where paradise could always exist. In honor of my father, it is my duty to protect the weak from the belligerents. And upon my order, on their behalf, what I ask on their behalf shall be given to them. What is mine is mine. What is yours is yours. And it is my wish to have all that is mine now. I leave the paperwork to you. So we have said, so let it be written, so let it be done. This is going to be state of Louisiana. County of Bossier Parish. On this day of, it's going to be for the notary. Before me, the subscriber, Kenneth Arnez. Davis. To me known to be living, to be the living man described and who executed the foregoing instrument and acknowledge before me that he executed the same as his free will, act, and deed. Okay, I started from the beginning again. Here we go. And I'm gonna mail a copy of this to everybody. District attorneys, uh, sheriffs, uh, might hand a copy to a few peace officers who disregard my not for hire plates. And if I have to, the Pope himself, who is everybody's the sheriff, the police, attorney general, the president, he their boss. He's their commander in chief. So we'll notify him the dishonor. Yeah, to well, damn, they killing your cousins in the street. I would think you have to right about now. I feel you. Peace and love.